and starting soon. Ah, there's the bell. Lovely, let's get going. So, this is What I Want by JPB. It's available right now on NCS 24/7 Gaming Music Livestream YouTube. Let's close that down. Hiya. Welcome to the Sandrogue series. Yes. That's what this is called. I remember now. Sandrogue, here it is. Where are we up to? Oh yeah, what a system I've got going here. We are up to finish current to-dos. Yes, that's a good idea. And monsters. Placement of monsters, huh? Not that we're having problems with the placement of monsters, it's just that it's the apex of the code. The bit that matters most. This is what creates the game. This is what makes the game interesting. And why so many people want to play it. Get this wrong, you're going to kill your game. So let's not get it wrong, shall we? Alright, oh, new mouse, beautiful. Oh, wow. A new keyboard. I bought a new mouse and a new keyboard for the Apple Mac, and it didn't fit on the bedroom desk that I use for the bed. So, it got the one that I've been using for the series, keyboard and mouse, that's now in the bedroom, and I got the new ones. The mouse glows. Yeah, it glows, and so does the keyboard. So I've got no excuses if it suddenly goes dark. We can carry on typing. I can still see the keys. God, do I need to. Oh, that's not a good start. Let's have some coffee. So yeah, complete the Wandering Monster list. We'll do that first because that's the important one. We have to complete a Wandering Monster list at the beginning of the level, when we initialize the level. We complete the room monster list every time the player walks in a room. So let's mark that down. This is a new keyboard. Oh god. Initialized at level creation. So they're different, and that's why I've done 2. And this one is initialized as player enters room. Keyboard feels okay. So we need 2 lists. Wandering monster list and a room monster list. Why am I putting it in game objects? Let's have a look. Well, game objects holds all the objects that we have. It also has the ability to create objects on the fly. It seems to have everything that we need. It's actually the central control unit for the ECS system. And is it the correct place to put this monster list thingy? No. Probably not. Can we put it here though? Oh yeah, we can. So what do we have? We have a static vector, and this is going to be a wandering monsters. So now we'll call it monsters wandering. Actually, we'll turn it around. Always turn it around when doing these kind of things. Oh, that didn't happen. You see, I'm still not caps locking. Right, okay. Keys are a bit close together. Might be difficult for me, but hey ho. So I'll call that wandering. And the next one we will call static. This is why I wanted the vector class in the first place. It wasn't to keep hold of those. Vector. People would probably use a list class. I'm quite aware of that. I have no problems in people using a list. It's just that coming from C++, I'm more used to vectors. So that's why I made a vector class. It's the same thing. Near enough. Sort of, not. Oh well, never mind. So this is going to be monsters in rooms. Now, the difference is there's a big difference in initialization of these two monsters types. Wandering monsters, we can put it in, can't we? These will initialize to mean, and these will initialize to sleep. There we go. Oh dear. Okay. We don't have sleep. So let's go and sort that out. Oh, we're in the wrong mode, aren't we? I do apologise. There you go. You can see what I'm doing now. So all I've done is I've put in 2 extra static vectors for monsters that are wandering and monsters in rooms. Once activated, they're in play. Monsters wandering is always in play. Monsters rooms only activates when you enter a room. And then they are in play. So they're completely different. Does mean you can't accidentally shoot a monster in a room before you go in, because you have to open the door anyway. Think about that one. And they are activated once you go in the first time anyway. In other words, you open the door. Right, that's those rules over with. Control Shift N. We will go to common. And we need now to look around in common and find out, I think it comes under AI. Yes, I think it does. Damage types, no. Action. Non-movement attack, yeah, those are fine for actions. We haven't got that far, okay. That was nice to know. Our ranged combat didn't get far. Because we haven't got anything to target. Okay. We don't have anything for AI. That's rather interesting. Action. Maybe. Monsters, what are you playing at? Why haven't you got an AI? You do? It's here. I just left it there. Whilst I was programming, you see? How things get changed. And they have to be shifted around, and why we have them in common. Not in there. I'll stick it here, I don't care where it goes. There we go. Mean, flying, regen, greedy, invisible, and normal. So we can't put them to sleep. So it's an action. Sleep. That means they need a wake-up call, basically, if we do that one. So action sleep is going to be imperative. Otherwise, they are on action move. Action move and action asleep. So that's told us what we're going to be doing. We're going back to objects now, aren't we? Yeah. So initialize to action none and action asleep. Yeah. There we go. Lovely. So that changes my statement there. And we need to initialize our wandering monsters, which will happen. Create player, create the monsters, monster data initialize, object add monster stats, initialize models, and we have to do it here. So we need to know the number of rooms. For each room, test for a wandering monster. Let's do that. Do we have the room? No, because I deleted it, didn't I? It's what I was going to do when I put it in, and we got sidetracked somewhere else. Okay, init those two. Alright, I think we have a vector in it now for monsters wandering and monsters room. So we can do those, can't we? So it's vector init. And monsters. And monster wandering. Semicolon. Vector init. Oops. No, underscore. Init. And it's and the address of monsters rooms. Semicolon. I'm going to be doing Swift. Yeah. I'm going to be programming in Swift soon. Is that a good or bad thing? No idea. Never programmed in Swift in my life. Programmed in Python. Didn't enjoy it. Programming in Swift is supposedly like programming in Python, so I'll probably not enjoy it. Hey ho, what a shame. Right, so let's install ourselves with some wandering monsters, shall we? Okay, we need to know the number of rooms, don't we? How do we get the number of rooms? Is it in the dungeon? Not really. Struct dungeon level rooms. Dungeon level will hold it. No, it won't. Let's see if it's in the map. There it is. It's an I-32. So it's, put space in there. I-32. Number of rooms. Oops. Equals that. So we go through each of the rooms. Index. Yeah, we can use an index, can't we? I-32 index equals 0 to index is less than number of rooms. I'm not really overly bothered about whether that's correct or not. And we'll just index up. Increase. And in each room, we're going to make a dice roll. So, I don't know what it is, I-32, dice roll equals dice roll, and it's a 1d6. And if the dice roll is below something, yeah. Monsters. What's the rules? Don't know. No, I think it's 1 or 2, but that might be for the occupation. It might be 1 only. No, it's not in that lot. No, it's not in that lot. Ah. Yeah, I've got my hit points wrong, I know. Okay, that's all wrong, those notes. Monsters, add to room. Monsters, add wandering. Hold on a minute, the dungeon level's already got this. Right. That's nice to know. No more notes. Oh dear. Alright, that's choosing the wandering monster with dungeon level. So we already have the code. Oh my god. That's fantastic. If I remember rightly, it's 1 on a 1d6. There we go. We'll pop that in once we're here. Memories allocated, yep. There's no real extra information in here about when to call for a wandering monster. GURPS Lite doesn't cover it. D&D does. Oh dear. It could already be an object, so I might have already decided. I'm so full of indecision at times that sometimes I pre-decide things and just leave a note. Okay, there's nothing on that note. As you can see, I just leave notes. And they are left on purpose. Okay. Yeah, okay, fine. Potions, yeah. All of this is to go in as soon as we get these random placements worked out. These will all follow on very easily because it's the same code. Press monster, staves. They come under the room placement of monsters. Scrolls, blah blah blah. Okay. No more. Okay. So we can decide now it's going to be 1. Otherwise, there's going to be too many. So, if our dice roll is equal to 1, then first of all we have to choose a monster. Do we know what level we're on? Oh no, we don't. Here. Max entities. We don't have the current level, do we? No, we don't. That's fine. We can get it. Here. So, dungeon level current. So that's a star, I think. Yeah, because number of rooms is just 932, that doesn't matter. Dungeon, yep, that's a struct, it does matter. So current level equals dungeon level. Okay. What do we actually need from that? Let's have a look what we've got. Current level gives us an I8. I8 level equals, may as well do it here, current level, dungeon level. There we go, sorted. So we have all the information we need. So if it equals a 1, we can get an I32. No, we don't, we get a char, don't we? Will it convert for us? Doesn't matter, char. Char equals dungeon place monster. Oh no, it isn't, it's in monster, isn't it? Monster. Nothing's happening. We have monsters. Okay. So it's in dungeon. Dungeon. Place player. No. Okay. Oh dear. Add to wandering. I8 dungeon level. Gives back a char. Char monster equals that, and that's what we want to place in our wandering monster table. So it's a vector, append. The vector will be monsters wandering, and that's a star, so we'll need an and, the address, please. Thank you. And the number that we want to put in there will be int, and that will be char monster. There we go. So all we do is turn the character code into an integer. Simple as that, really. Right, so that's that done. Placed all the wandering monsters. Rooms we don't do here. We only do them as we enter. The only room of interest to us is after we've placed the player. So where did we place the player? When did we place the player? We've initialized the player. But at this point we don't place them. Nice. So that's going to be our next problem. Well, it's not a problem. Our next part of the solution is when we place the player, we also have to place any monsters or any other objects within that room. We can now look up monster locations for wandering monsters. We have a list of wandering monsters. The initial room will hold something. We need a status there for the character. Are they in character location? Or location, status, corridor, or room? Okay. We're not forced to do it yet. We're not forced to do it. We can complete the wandering monsters though. There is a problem with this, because there's a recursion that happens. We have to do... It's the same recursion that we had in carving out rooms. We've got the same problem. Is the space occupied? We need an is the space occupied function. I think We don't have one. I don't know if we've created one at this point. My memory isn't that good. If we have, it should be in dungeon. It hinges around speed of execution of code. And this is why I said, if you get this wrong, forget it. You haven't got a game. So I'm just going to have a quick look in Dungeon H. We place player. We don't have a place monster. The thing is, we position the player first in room 0. And all we do is we just find a place and return it. So what we need now is the other function to that, which is place monster. And we can't place the monster on top of the player or another monster. So this is going to be a to-do, isn't it? But this is where it goes. But this is giving positions. Ting. That's fine. We'll just do the same. Again, it's the same function. If you remember right back at the beginning, I said what is good for the player is also good for the monster. And this is why I said it. Is because of this duplication, which isn't duplication, but it is, be warned, it is duplication of code. So dungeon, place, monster. And I know it's duplication, but I don't care. We'll take a position, star, position. In other words, where do you want us to place it? And we will return, oh sorry, give us a position to use, we will place it and then send it back to you. How's about that? I think that's fair. Yeah, we'll use that. And because it's prototype code, it's exactly the same. Oh well. Can you see a problem already? There is problems with this code. It's correct for what it says. Random point in room. Place equals random point in room. But which room? Current room. U32. So U32 is current room. Comma. And then all we do is we replace that with that. There you go. We can add you in. So it's just slightly changed, that's all. Not a lot. So there's nothing to worry about. All we have to know is which room, as we have decided that's random enough for the player, but for the monsters, we have to know the room where they start. They can't start in a corridor, notice. We are coming up to the first part of the AI because of this. And I am going to so enjoy it because I have no idea how to do it. That's not quite right. I do have some idea on how to do it. I've just never written the code before. So it'll be an interesting writage of code. It will be done in the classic prototype way, which means I could absolutely fail to complete the code, which is fine. I never said I was a programmer. You learn through failure, not through success. What doesn't work teaches you what does work. Bad programming teaches you to value good programming. Never forget that. Without a bad programmer, there could never be a good programmer. How you view me, I don't care. Good or bad, not bothered. I know that I'm going to complete this program and that's all I care about. So, yeah. We can now place a monster in a room. Notice I haven't put any rules in. This is prototype code. You don't need any rules in a prototype. If you can't think of any, or you don't want to complicate the code at any point in time, then don't. But I do know there is a rule. So I am going to add the rule. But it's irrelevant for testing. And that's what prototype code is for. So we shall place the rule in as a to-do. How's about that for cookies? Yeah, that's good. Put that down. Put that down. Having less hands today is hurting. Alright, so we do have a to-do here. It comes right at this point here. To-do. Only place oops, don't do that. The monster if location is not, and I'm choosing my words very carefully, occupied, because I'm giving you the code at the same time, occupied by the player or another monster. I've just written the code as a to-do. That's an illegal to-do because you're not supposed to do that, but I'm doing it for your benefit rather than mine. If you want to write the code now, you can do. It's there in front of you, in plain English, what you have to do. I want to show you what happens if you don't do that line. So I want to do prototyping. So I'm not trying to be perfect code. If that helps you understand why I'm doing this. So what we're going to do is we are going to just place the monster in the dungeon, in whatever room it is. But when do we do that? Oh, we do that on the initialization, don't we? Yes, we do. So let's do that. Position, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, we need the position of the monster. So we're going back to our objects. Now, we don't know which object we're dealing with at this point. We have no idea. All we've done is we've added it to the Wandering Monster list. But we've added the wrong thing. This wanted an int, we've got a char. But there's something that goes in between these two, is we have to create the monster. We may have initialized a set of monsters, but what we haven't done is created a new monster itself. We haven't copied that all over. So we need to add a monster to the system. And now monsters should take care of this. So we're going to ask it to. Where did we last use this? Doors. We last used this in the placement of doors. So if you want to know how we're going to do it, let's go and have a look at doors. That came under items and fixtures. So we have reference material now. We can actually reference our own material so that we can construct it in the same way. So in our items and fixtures, we already have something that, oh, I should have gone to the header file. Okay, initialize modems, items load. Did we ever get around to writing that one? No. Is this where the rule is for wandering monsters? No. Gold. Oh, no. We use dungeon place doors, dungeon place stairs. And it's dungeon place stairs that is the key to this, I think. So let's go and have a look at dungeon. So dungeon place stairs. Take a 0.3D place in the map, blah 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 blah. Dungeon level, add items fixtures. Okay, let's have a look at that. Here it is. Dungeon level current map fixtures, blah blah equals item fixture ID. Yeah, that's all great, well and good for an item or a fixture, but not for a monster. So we haven't got a way of doing it. I'm sure we did something somewhere about this. Because we added the doors to a different cell object. It's in objects. Object add position. Primary character, yeah, okay. That's all adding as stats. We haven't got to the items. Stairs. Doors. It was doors that mainly concerned me because I chose 100 and above. There we go. This piece of code here. We decided to take 100 to 255 for the doors. Well, I want to take 300 plus for the wandering monsters. Well, monsters in general. So we're going to use that there. So we know the monster. But now I'm going to change this number here because I don't want it so low. We've got 1024 spaces. We can waste a few. I'm not being memory efficient. So if it's unused, it breaks out and sets new monster index. And that index is doubly used now. Let's have a look at the variables that I've used. I've used number of rooms. So that becomes room. Okay. Okay, we haven't used room anywhere else, have we? No, good. Index is an I32 for all I care right now. So we go through that and we set the monster index. What we now need to do is copy the monster over. So the new monster at that index, we'll use our ECS system, I think. We'll need a model and a position. We only actually have to create a position. Yeah. The model we can do. We know what model it is. It's that one there. Let's tell ourselves that it is. So that becomes index, which we can't use because we haven't done it properly. We need to use it outside of this for loop. That becomes index. That's all we care about there. But we have to create it. So let's have a look. What do we need to set? We need to set object, game entities, and position. So we'll take those three. This is not the perfect way of doing it. Okay, yep, that's okay. So those are our three things that we have to do now. So let's do the top one. The top one is object. Open brackets, index. That's going to be equal to whatever that is. It's a struct. What do we have in that struct? Okay, object ID, which is an I32, So it has to be an I32 that we use, and that equals our monster model. And that's the object ID. Okay. In game entities, it's just an ID. So game entities ID equals whatever we just set here. So it equals the same thing. That's our quick, this is our quick lookup. Game entities. It should actually be game entities here, but never mind. Not assignable. I thought it was a dot. That should not be an arrow. Oh. All right. Game entities. It's index again, isn't it? Index. And then it's dot. Is an I32. Is not assignable. Yes, it is. What's the difference between an object and an entity? Nothing. There should be no difference whatsoever. They should be duplications of the same information and data. It's the only thing it's got in it, isn't it? Surely I haven't consted it out. Oh, bugger. I've used it the wrong way around, have I? Yeah. I've used it the wrong way around. There we go. Sorry. Alright, the position. We need to create a position. Okay, so let's do that. Let's have a position. Position star monster position equals object. We can't do that. Equals a new one. equals malloc. Alloc. So position. We'll have a new one, please. Malloc. And we just need the size. Size of position. That's that done. So we now have a brand new monster position. And we are going to place them in the room. So monster position equals dungeon place monster, current room, comma, monster position. That will do that for us. And then if we have a look down at the bottom of how we do add positions, which I don't think we need anymore. We could do it with using this actually. It's the same as this here. Object position rotation. Yeah, and scale. And then we just have the position component to add because we've done the object index. Oh no, we haven't. Component add. Okay. So we know the first three have been completed. Okay. And we need to make sure that that one gets completed as well, the ID. Okay. So that does all of those lot. And it's all monster position now. Object ID equals whatever index we're at. Once we've done that, we can then add it to the place where we want it. Which is those two lines. Add it to the ECS, basically. So our position component object ID, yes, we've got that set. Dot object ID equals index, that is correct. And the object index dot component, which we haven't done, component position equals monster position. ECS has been filled in. We can add it to the monsters that are wandering, and our ECS system will take care of the rest. This is exactly what we have to do for each room when we enter it as well. Now, what's wrong with room? Shadow's a local variable. We've used it before. Okay, that means this is in use. Copy. Place. Place. And we use it once. Probably. Yeah. And that's it. We find somewhere to put it and add it to the ECS. That's it in a nutshell. We keep doing that for each room. And if we get the dice roll equal to 1, we'll add a new monster. That's fine. Don't know if we'll get any. We could also do with adding it to the rendering list at this point in time, just for... We have no line of sight. Who's holding our rendering list? We aren't holding it here. Our rendering list should be held in our main game loop. Is this correct? Object, add monster to renderer. Alright, well for now, we'll make a copy of this. And this will be add wandering monsters to renderer. Because we need to be able to test what we're doing, otherwise we've got no chance of getting some final code out of it. So, current game state, it's the same. What am I doing? Just copy it. This is going to be the final one. This is the test one. It'll get removed. But it has to go in the code at the moment, because we have no other way of doing it. So really, all this is going to do is exactly what's below. I'm guessing. So, for doesn't matter. I32 index equals we chose 300. It just saves on doing the first 300 because they're going to be used by other things. So that's why I chose a random number. 300 will do. whilst index is less than max entities, because we don't know how many there are. Oh, that's the alt key. Index plus plus. Found the alt key. Oh, isn't that good of me? Okay. If open brackets, I'm going to carry on using object, aren't I? Object index is equal to unused. Then we can return render objects. We don't need to continue. Okay. Otherwise, we have an object. We have an index for the monster ID. Maybe that's what we should have used. To make it more sensible than index. Room placement is don't care. You can see how we're adding it to a position before we put it into the renderer. Bit of dodgy code actually there. So it's that. And that. Vector append render object dot models to render and monster ID. That'll do it. So we can stop short if we run out of them. There you go. We could use a printf, but I don't want to. Have we got enough code to run? Yeah, I know that. Parameter is never used. Alright, so we're not looking them up. That's in ranged. That's fine. That's fine. Yeah, that's expected. Right, that's the only one we've got to add. Okay. That can go in the main game loop. Main game loop. Add test monster. I'll keep that one. For now. So that's just going to be current game state equals object to add that one. And it's just going to be current game state. Like that. That should theoretically work. And I am going to put that printf in. So I'm not sure about it. Printf. Wandering. There's no point in me looking for them if they're not there. Wandering monster added to rendering. %D. We might not have any. Where are we? Monster ID. There we go. It's a great printf statement if I put the \n in. There we go. Can we build? No idea. Coffee? No. Oh well. We can build. We have enough code to build. We can't run, which I expected. It took too long, that's how I knew it wasn't going to work. Alright, I don't think we've got a dungeon level, by the looks of that. Current level, null. So we haven't created a dungeon level. At the time when we try and place the monsters. Now, that obviously is a problem. Well, no. The solution to it is create the dungeon level first. It's not a problem at all. So that's all we have to do. Can we stop this? Thank you. So ordering matters. Yay! Who have we got on stream? I haven't even said hello to you, have I, stream? Give me a sec. I'm having a relaxed Sunday after yesterday's whirlwind tour of going into ranged combat and then getting distracted by this. And yes, I've left a to-do on the ranged combat this morning because I knew that we weren't going to get back to it. It was never supposed to be a thing yesterday. It was just I decided to start it and found out that we were getting very close to doing this. So I thought, well, no, stuff it, let's do this instead. Let's try adding wandering monsters. It's not as easy to do as people think because, as you just seen, I'm trying to add the wandering monsters before I've even created a dungeon level. This is where your code starts to take its final form, because this is the last piece of real code. Everything else is just a copy of the code. Even this is slightly a copy of code, although it's brand new. But that means we'll put it in an initializer that is run before our dungeon level. Two ways you can go about this: run the initializer after you create the dungeon level, or take this code out of here and put it in its own thing. And then run it after you create the dungeon level. Which one's the best way of doing it? Making it mobile? Or letting the code dictate to you what happens? The answer is you let the code dictate to you what happens. You do not change what your prototype is. You change the way the code, the order in which the code functions. So back in our main game loop, we have to have a look at this to make sure that, firstly, it's true that we are doing that. And are we? Hold on a minute. Hold on a minute. No, we're not. So why is it null? So my assumption was incorrect. And that's why I said, let the code ordering be changed. Because it made me go back and check. If I hadn't, and I just moved it out, all I would have done is transferred the problem. So at the time when we create the dungeon, our dungeon level current equals dungeon level. So that is correct. Dungeon level current is dungeon level current. Is that what we've used in our code? Let's have a look. Well, it is. This gets deeper and more interesting. Because we've never checked that variable. Okay, let's see what information we've actually got. Dungeon level current, null. So when does it become a thing? why doesn't that line there give us a sigfault? Because it hasn't got to this line. Hold on a minute. Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. How the hell are we in object initialization? It's because it's in main, maybe? Stop. We mess this up something here. It's in here that we've done object initialization. And it's like the first thing that we do. And we initialize all the objects before we've even got a dungeon level. Wow. Didn't see that one coming, did you? I think Control V. We're only passing through shader and window. We don't even have game items in our includes. Maybe that might help. Maybe. Let's try it. Build. Just build a project. Oh, good. Which VAO to draw? Oh, that's interesting. It doesn't know. And it's on model 300. Excellent. So we did have a wandering monster. So our wandering monster code is correct, but we haven't given it a VAO. Yeah, we are going to have to copy it over the game model. Right, that's interesting. I didn't know we were going to have to do that. I thought we could just redirect it to the previous, and we can't. Using the ID system. That's not going to help us here. So back to a second thought on that initialization. Objects. Okay. What it's telling me is we've initialized the position, but we haven't initialized the model here. So like we've done here, we comp position. We really need to do the same with the model. We have to give it a model. It doesn't, otherwise it's just not going to work. So let's go and have a look how we did it on this one. I think we did it quite simply. Add model, here we go. Yeah, we haven't got one. There's that malloc missing. Alright, yeah, we can just do the same. Exactly the same piece of code. Alarm bells should be ringing. And of course they are. So we can just use literally that piece of code again. It's a reuse of code. We should really be marking this reuse of code. But I don't, because it's not my job. I'm a systems analyst, I'm not a programmer. So that's okay. The game model to use is lookup component for door? No. We want to look up the component for our monster, don't we? It's there and it says monster model. Yay. What do you need? Mr. Lookup component. No, tell me what you need. Please. It's an I-32, isn't it? Please say it's an I-32. I'll guess. Yes, I was right. It's an object ID. Component model. Yep, that all works. Blah de blah de blah. Build and run. There we are. We're running. Is M still here? Oh, we've got some stairs. Where's M? M's still here. Wandering monster added at 300. Interesting, only one. No idea where it is like or what it is. But we do have one. In one of these rooms. And this is why I did not want to test this, really. There's only one being added. That seems a bit low. Oh, there it is. We've got a wandering bat. There you go. It's found. There we go. Wandering monsters have been added. Awesome. But only one? I want to know my dice rolls. I'm not a great believer in just saying, oh, it works. Printf. Here we go. Let's see what happens this time. Wandering monster dice roll equals %d. \n. I remembered. I'm getting to remember things. This is ace, and we'll just pop the dice roll in there, please. We'll just have a quick look at it. Oh, for God's sake. Have I just forgotten how to do a printf? Or am I just doing it in the wrong place? What the heck just happened? Where's the other printf gone? Oh, right. It was in the adding. Right, okay. Build. Oh, thank you. And run. I always get worried. So we've got 3 this time. One, 2, 3. 8 rooms. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 rooms. Oh my god, it works. We have 3 wandering monsters. The level of the wandering monsters is auto. It's picked by the system. So at top level it'd be snakes, bats. Worst you'll come across is a centaur. There's a snake in the room we started in. Very nasty of it. Nothing hanging out in here. The other thing we haven't given it is monster stats. So we're about to crash. Oh, we've got a bat in this room. It's working fine. Absolutely fine, as we can see. Yeah, that's fine. What isn't fine? Yeah, we don't have any monster stats for these. So there's no combat. Let's crash. No, it doesn't exist. That's okay. That's fine. Our M does, but these don't yet. So they don't exist. That's fine. And that's because they're not solid. We've just literally picked them up and whacked them in. There we go. But that is a done. So, non-solid wandering monsters appear in the dungeon. Dun dun dun. Commit. Yeah, I know I've added a load of to-dos, thanks. Now, do we need to do the add to a room? Yes, we do. We're in room 0. When we start, we're in room 0, so we have to initialize that room. That's cute. Oh yeah, do you want the code? Sorry. Here we go. Push. There's all the code up to date. Nearly. New keyboard. Let's get this right. Be more careful. Alright, so we have to do room 0 now. That's going to be easy. So really, every time we enter a room, we have to decide what's in it. Okay. Let's have a look at this long piece of garbage we've just written. Right, for each room, test for a wandering monster. That is correct. Populate contents of room 0 is next. Monsters. And we want to populate room 0. With possible residents. Remember, they'll be asleep. Well, that doesn't matter. We don't have to remember that at all. To do. Make solid and attackable, if that's a word, which we found out it isn't, if I remember rightly. Make solid and attackable, set to AI underscore mean. Okay. That's that done. I.e., they attack the player. There's no point in doing the AI until we get movement, monster movement done. Right. Have you noticed that we haven't really been altering the main game loop too much, but it is now starting to differ, which is interesting. Okay. It's exactly the same code. Except it's room 0. There's no for next loop. So it's the internal parts of this. Copy. This is why I was saying it's very critical we get it correct, because we're doing a lot of copy and pasting. Okay, so it's room 0. We know that. Alright, so we make a dice roll. Room monster, dice roll. If it is less than, oh god, here we go, less than or equal to 2. Then we get a monster. And it's all the same code. Down to make solid and attackable, set to it's action, isn't it? Action underscore move, mean. It's AI really. We need to sort the AI out. Action none, because it hasn't got one at that point. Sleep. Okay. We don't seem to have a monster room. That's okay, so it's 0. Okay. So you fine? Why have we got all this red stuff going on down here? Thank you. Does that mean I have one left up here somewhere? By accident. Just make sure we haven't. No, the line is not interrupted and is fine. Okay. It's becoming a bit of a long function because of all of this duplicated code, but hey ho. Such is the prototype world, as we well know. Right, let's get our notes correct. It's action, AI mean, action none at this time. That gets set. At this point, will that work? Yes, of course it'll work. It's just the same code. It's going to be hard to test because it's on a dice roll of 1 or 2, so 33% of the time we will get a room occupant. That's interesting in itself. And half the time there will be a monster in that room. Because it's additive. At which point, not really much I can do with that, is there? We can try build and test. Did we add it? No, we haven't added it, have we? So we're going to need another one of these. Okay, fair enough. It's current game state. We already know what it is. Current game state. Yeah, okay. It's object. So this is room. Room monster to renderer. To render. Alrighty. Oh, we chose 300 there. I want to choose 900 here. No, I don't. 400. I can't remember how many different things there are left. Okay, we'll just go with 400 for now. So down in here, it's exactly the same code, but starting at 400. Should really get rid of that thing so I can see more. Is there a chance I'll overlap? Yeah. And that will just add all room monsters to the renderer. All we have to do is call it. No, we don't. You can see how bad the code is now, because you can see all the different variants and variations of what can happen next already occurring in front of your eyes, and the code is very naive on purpose, and just shouldn't work at all. But it's the code that we've got, and it does work. That's miraculous. So, back in our main game loop. Where are we adding all this rubbish code? Here we are. Do the same again, copy and paste. This is how games are developed, is it, hey? Room, is it? Build. And run. And there it goes. There were no room objects added. I didn't think so. Room monster dice roll equals 2. So where is it? Well, that was never checked, was it? Control B. Did I change it? No. $400 we're at now. And we have one. We have a K. It's gonna be a kobold, I think, but I think I've kept it to the original at the moment. Let me just make sure the dice roll was correct. Room monster roll was 3. But I see 2 monsters. So that means that our initial wandering monster was a 1. Yeah, it's a wandering monster. Wow. Awesome. Next, as we walk into a room, it should generate monsters. So we need to know where the player is now. And that's where we're up to. That's ace. I want to just try something before we do, though. Because we've altered the structure of our program, haven't we? Which might produce interesting results, so I would like to check the header files, because I did notice one was missing. I can remember taking it out. And I know why I did it, because I wanted to test this, to see whether it was going to be any use or not. During our progress, and it seems to be useful, very useful. We seem to have a lot of these going at the moment. File list. Yeah, I thought that would happen. Look what's happened to main C now. It's now a side object. It's just the starter. A lot of things are now centralized around the game loop. But you've now got this little hanging out bunch over here. See how it's migrating? A little hanging out bunch over here. And we seem to have the central location rendering and combat. That's it. Which are our updates. Interesting. We can see how this left hand side now is reaching in, and this is now reaching out. Reaching out to the right, reaching in from the right. So there's a couple of little links here, which are they really needed? here as well. You can see the cross patterns going on, but you can also see now how this one here nearly gets it right. It's the only one that uses stdlib. stdlib has disjoin from common, which tells me that that is in the wrong place. It should be on that line there. So there's a fix straight away which takes that line out, and that line is then used. So that's in text file utils.h. Yeah, we'll go back to you. Actually, yeah. So here in text files utils.h, we have an include selection, and one of those is the standard lib. Well, actually, both of these can be replaced with hash include source / common. That gets deleted. That gets transferred. Goes there. And that's that. No, wait a sec. All right, this, we never finished targeting, did we? Whoops. So now if we go back, can I just do that? Yes, I can. You just go up to there and you do that, okay? If we now go back to this, run oxygen again. All right, just pop you up. Get rid of the old one. In with the new. File list. Main. Main has gone further to its corner. But now that's cleaned. See how it's dropped down to the bottom? Because it no longer has anything blocking it getting there now. So this left-hand side seems pretty well getting cleaned. That sand combat, that big loopy round thing can go. But we can't do it yet. Premature optimization. Just don't do it. I've shown you examples of what happens, how to move these lines, so we'll stay with that, I think. You can go down. Missed it. I'm not used to this mouse. There it goes. You're down. Lovely. So where are we up to now? We are in here. We've got a while loop coming up. Yeah, where is the player? Is the player in a room? Alright. There we go. Let's do that. So let's make a coffee and find out if the player is in a room. How's about that for cooking eggs? Let's see what we've got music-wise here for you. CS 24/7. Watch the World Burn by Paul Flint and Chris Linton. I'll give you a nice picture of me to watch. Aren't I glamorous? And I'm going to go make a cup of coffee.
Trying to keep my cool. I see what your colors shining through. Yeah, I do. That I do. Is it too much to ask? I don't want you back. I don't want you back. Is it too much to ask? I don't want you back. I don't want you back. No matter the distance I cover, you always there. This mother, please let me find another. Feels like you're my silhouette. I'm not easy to forget. Pretend that we never met. I've been running away from you. I've been trying to keep my cool. I see what your colors shining through. Yeah, I do. That I do. Is it too much to ask? I don't want you back. I don't want you back. Is it too much to ask? I don't want you back. I don't want you back.
Have you heard the new song from More Plastic? Well,
Yeah, I'm exhausted. Let's do this. Bit wakeful, but it's music. How are we doing on the stream? Looking good. Nice and strong. Okay. Let's get back to it. Is the player in the room? Yes, the player is in room 0. Now, that means we need to change something. And that comes at the bottom, game state. Alrighty, let's put a bool. And that is player in a room. Doesn't really matter what we'll put for this part. I32. Room. Room number. There we go. That'll do. Then we can go back to our main and fill it in. Dot is player in a room equals true. Comma. Room number equals 0. That's where we started them. That's it. And now, as the player moves, we will have to locate where they are. And if they activate a room, we have to do it. So game update. Use a keyboard input. We now need to update update players location within dungeon. I think we should do it after the keyboard input, maybe, or with the keyboard input. It's getting a bit hairy and scary in there, so no, we'll do it after. Yeah, I suppose. There we go. We will need to ask one question here, which is the player in a room? And if so, which room? Now, I can remember right back towards the start, I preempted something, didn't I, on the rooms. I think I made a struct for them. Which we should be using. And I bet we're not. I don't think there's anything in this. It shouldn't be in this lot. Main camera. Room contents. To do, complete the room contents. There you go. To do. So dungeon level. It needs a bull. Discovered. Contents. I'm not really bothered about now. We've got lists running. I think that's really gone out the window. All we need to know is it has the room been discovered? And that's it. If it has, all well and good. If it hasn't, oh dear. What the room contents are is immaterial. It's the dungeon contents we look after in big lists, so we don't need to look after the room contents on an individual basis. So that's fine, we now have room contents. So that has to be initialized. And the room contents will be initialized at the time when the room is created. And they will be initialized as dungeon level and discovered. True or false? That's a nice initialization, I can do that one. Okay. Where are we going to put all of these rooms? I think the dungeon. Maybe. Maybe not. Ah, we've taken it down again, have we? Again, we can use this to help us out. External tools, Doxy Wizard. File. We're only using it for one thing. Don't think I need to run it, but hey ho. We have a tool user. Why not? Alrighty. Where is our map? Here. There you go, dungeon level rooms, map, lookup, room number. So yeah, our rooms are tied in here. This is where it was originally going to go as well. So I guess that's where we're going to put it. We could put it at the dungeon level. I think I want to look at this first. Map system first. Map is accessed quite... Yeah, that's a bit of a loop going on there. Wow. Weird. Anyway. That could be smoothed out, couldn't it? Yeah, it's only got common and sand ice in there. Okay. I mean, how much really is our dungeon level doing? Not much. And that goes onto the map. That's fine. I don't see it. Dungeon place doors, dungeon place monster, dungeon place player. This places things within the dungeon, but it doesn't exactly look after the rooms. Because the actual dimensions of the room itself, I think we keep that separate. That's where we came to a sudden stop with using that structure. We have a dungeon level. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. So we know about the rooms in here. I think this is where we're going to have to put it. Yeah. So it's going to go in the map. Fine. That's what I needed to know. Let's just have a look at the header file first. Room status I'm thinking about. The room status has to be initialized at this point. Otherwise, we won't get the right results. Why am I here? No, I'm in maps.c. What does that hold then? Maybe we could reuse level rooms. We can. It's already got dungeon level. All we have to add to it is discovered. It's got all the other information in there. Okay, that's final. So we now have level rooms being placed together. So room contents, build discovered. We cut and we place it inside. Here. In here, if success, then we put in a level underscore rooms, room count, dot discovered equals false. There we go. And that's it. Now we can go back to objects. Because as we have already stated here, we have discovered room 0. So that's the last thing we have to do here. Okay. We have discovered room 0 by default. Okay. No. Alright, I give up. There you go. So how are we going to do that? Can we get a room from here? Dungeon level rooms, we can. Do we already have dungeon level rooms taken out somewhere? Just make sure that we're not overdoing this one. Looking for something in green, saying dungeon level. Doesn't look as though we've even gone there. No, used number of rooms. Doesn't look as though we have bothered really with it. That's fine. Okay. Well, it's about time we did. So, dungeon. Level rooms. Star. Level rooms. Equals. Map. Lookup room 0. And level rooms. Dot discovered equals true. No, set it. That's it. We now have room 0 discovered. We have it populated. We haven't added to do add items, yeah. Whoops. And that to do is going to keep coming up until we do it. Add items, yeah, that's it. That's okay. We're gaining to-dos again. And that's all there is to it. I think we're finished. Have we? We've done room 0 and we have got to the stage now where we need a game update. So this now becomes a to-do. Good. Gives us choices of what we want to do next. Have we actually completed anything? No. No, we haven't. We completed Wandering Monsters and Room Occupants, Residents, but not completely. Half and half. I'm more concerned with the structure of the code at this point, rather than completing. So I want to take a few days out to complete this part properly. A little bit, it's going to be baby steps, because if we get anything wrong, the whole game, null and void, scrap it. We can't rewind from here. We're at the stage now where we either decide the prototype is good or whether it's bad. And so far, it looks damned good. Because all of this lot gets taken out. Because this is all test. Add object to render means LOS, line of sight. So this whole section here gets replaced with line of sight. That's something to I can put a to-do in, but we're nowhere near doing that yet, are we? Let's have a look in main. I don't think we're close to doing that. We're on spell mechanics and ranged attacks still. And we're just populating the dungeon. We can actually do targeting now. We have enough to do our targeting now. Already. So we could complete our targeting now and get rid of that to do. And then we'd have to go back and finish all the current to-dos again. Before getting on to traps. And then another biggie. Actually, before I do that, you have to do traps before you can do that. So to do, we haven't got it in. Update all monster actions. In other words, bring the dungeon to life. And we have to do that before line of sight so I can see what the hell's going on. Bring the dungeon to life. Yes, we'll have that. That's a good plan. I want to do after traps so the monsters don't step on them by accident. That wouldn't be nice. If they start on a trap and move off a trap, that's fine, but I don't want to move onto a trap because that would trigger it. But then again, should we ask the monster if it realises there's a trap there? Good point. We haven't initialized the AI yet. We are getting to the point where we can. But I think, actually, to do, we'll do that after this one here. Initialize monster, because we've definitely got enough code for it now. Monster AI. We can do it now, but I want to do it late. I want to finish off what we're doing first, then do traps, then do update all monster actions, and then we initialize the AI so the actions become good, That makes sense. Then we shut down the line of sight, maximize our levels, stairs down victory conditions, and we're done. Yeah. That will complete combat. And we've already put the to-dos in to finish the combat mechanics off, so that'll these two now will finish. Okay. So with the to-dos, we'll actually have the code ready for traps. Just make sure I've put them all in. Oops. Control Shift N. Go back to that loop. I did put it in, didn't I? Yeah, we did that to do. That's complete. That's a good one to do. I always like that one. I get a cup of coffee out of it. And we have placed a to-do here, yeah. So we have to do this before we can go back and do the next stage. That's fine. So our next run at this will be on ranged combat. And that completion of ranged combat, because we have now targets, which we didn't have. We couldn't complete it because we didn't have the damn targets, but now if we have a look in objects, right at the very top, we now have a list of objects to target. We have wandering monsters and room targets. So when we were checking for targets, did we get any? How the heck should I know? Is the question. We could actually initialize that as an automatic check and it'll slow everything down, but I don't care. No, we can initialize it as a button press. We can press T for targeting, can't we? Yes. So I'll have a button press for that. Awesome. I'm really chuffed about that, as it's been a hot week and I'm absolutely shattered. I know I'm having a cup of coffee. I'm just going to sit and chat about this for a bit because I want to say what the plans going forwards are. Once I've got a targeting system underway, that makes it possible for me to place in the spells and items, and I don't know if we have that on our main. I know I keep placing it in as a to-do, but I don't know if we have it on main. You see, you need spells and items happening before you can update all monster actions, but I've got it into current to-dos, so I think we'll do it in the current to-dos. What the hell, why not? We've got it marked down enough times. So, yeah. The funny thing is, we only have to place the items in a room if it's discovered. So we only have room 0 to do. And get the code for that, and that will bring up the code for the rest of it later on, when we do the travelling. So it becomes very, very easy. We're just following our code, seeing where it leads us, and shouldn't be too bad. The build is looking good. Yeah, that's looking very good. Running it. I don't know if it'll run. Possibly not. Oh, it does. Damn. Okay. Yeah, fine then. We'll finish off ranged attacks. The code is up to date. We have the basic mechanics for everything for targeting that targeting requires. We have the lists that we needed, which is what stopped us completing ranged attacks. We had nothing to check it against. So yeah, I'm happy with that. I hope you're happy with it. I'm glad it's going as successfully as it has done. There's been a couple of bad days, yeah, so there is in all development. But at the same time, I haven't been the brightest spark all the way through this at the same time. So next is Tuesday. Take tomorrow off. So next episode is Tuesday afternoon, and we will complete our ranged attacks system. And hopefully we'll get on to doing as many to-dos as possible before we get on to the spell mechanics. But that's also part of it. Because they're not spell mechanics, they're special attacks and spell mechanics. Not sure how I want to handle that yet. I haven't actually decided. I don't really want to be using if statements and case statements and rubbish like that, because it doesn't half slow programs down. So that's something for me to think about. So over the next day, 24 hours, I've got spell mechanics and ranged attacks to think about. Good. I'm happy. Are you happy? Oh, we've got a room monster. Who was it? It wasn't UM, I know that. We're going to have to take you out now. It was a K. This is going to look so much better when we do the lighting. Got the angle of attack on that camera a bit high. I like it though. It gives a fisheye kind of feel, as though you're looking at it through a security camera. I like that effect. I'm going to keep it. I'm not going to move that. I actually moved it to this to get that effect. The camera. Played around with it for a few hours. So yeah, I'm happy with the effects. Catch you Tuesday. Until then, have fun. And I know which mouse to use. And I know where the button is. Yay! Go me.